am from Peterborough, and I am very good at calling that river that goes next to the Chester House estate, the River Nene. So I do apologise if I do say it. I am trying my best to get to the Nen, but give me a few more months of working here, and hopefully I'll get there. But I'll just quickly share my screen. Okay, so just to talk you through our timeline, first of all. As I'm sure most of you know, the Chester House Estate project, originally known as Chester Farm, has been going for many years. Northamptonshire County Council purchased the site in 2004, and following a large fire in our farmhouse in 2010, the estate was awarded a National Lottery Heritage Fund for the restoration of the Grade 2 star listed farmhouse and the surrounding buildings. Along with this, we also did have a large insurance payout for the farmhouse. In 2017, we welcomed our contractor Shayla onto site, who started a 4-year restoration project. But sadly, as I scroll down, in 2019, the contractor fell into administration, leaving the site around 75% to 80% completed. In 2019, the council met and made the decision they wished to carry on with the Chester Farm and now the Chester House Estate project, as they wish to invest in our heritage and archaeology in the county. My role started in May of 2020, and I was welcomed in my new role with a failed tender and the COVID pandemic, which put a few obstacles in us trying to get the site open last year. But what it did do is it gave us a real opportunity to look at our business and activity plans and look at what we really wanted to be moving forwards, and of course how we could be sustainable as well. In December 2020, we had a successful tender period, and in January 2021, our new contractor POW started on site. In December of 2020 as well, we were awarded the third largest DCMS COVID grant in the country of £719,000. And this was just behind the British Museum and the Black Country Living Museum in Birmingham. So it was a real huge achievement for us, considering we weren't actually an open and operational visitor attraction. And then we move to present day. Give me 2 seconds, sorry. Okay, you've all seen my dog now, apologies about that. And then we go to present day, which is our key dates. So as I mentioned, on the 25th of January, our restoration project started. In May, we completed our Natural England Stewardship Scheme, and we also finally opened our Archaeological Archiving Centre, which I'll go into a little bit more detail shortly. This summer, phase 2 of our project will also be complete, which includes our wedding venue, our ARTISAN shopping courtyard, our education centre and the wider estate. And our aim is to try and get these open as soon as possible, aiming for this August. And then by the 23rd of October, we will be complete. And on the 3rd of October, our contractor will leave site. So in terms of why have we invested £15 million into the Chester House estate? So this is our vision. Our vision is to connect the people of Northamptonshire to their 10,000-year story. We wish to have the community at the heart of everything we do. We wish to deliver a pioneering and diverse education programme accessible for all ages. We are going to be free. There are going to be no car parking charges, and that will be all the time and for everybody. Our big aim is we need to be financially sustainable. We cannot continue being a burden on the local taxpayer, and we will do this with a big commercial offering, which I'll talk through shortly. We want to establish, promote and grow local business, produce and tourism. We want to care for and preserve our natural and quite frankly incredible historical landscape. We want to improve the well-being of local residents, and we want to preserve the publicly accessible archaeological archives. So in terms of meeting the team, so this time last year it was just me and, as you've just seen, my dog on site here, and we have been a very small team for the last 6 months. This is the new team structure, and we have just recently recruited our new leadership team for the site. This is made up of an archive curator in Ben Donnelly Sims, an operations manager who will oversee the daily running of the site, an education and heritage officer, Natasha, and our catering manager, Mandy. We've also got on site a host of internship placements and also roles to assist with our weddings and our marketing as well. Okay. So the preservation and management of the historical landscape. In preparation for the site to open this summer, we have been running one of the largest Natural England stewardship schemes in the UK. Our programme did start back in 2019, but due to the fact there were no team actually in until 2020, we had 2 years worth of work to do in 6 months in terms of trying to get the scheme awarded. This included replacing 3,000 metres of fencing, planting a new orchard in the walled garden, clearing large and dense areas of scrub, creating footpaths which mean people can access us from the Claudius Way car park, and as well as making the paddock safe for both animals and also the public. And just to show off, I'm going to show you some before and afters of what the site now looks like. So as you'll see, we've not got new gates coming in. We've got a brand new fence line around the perimeter of the site, and we've cleared some huge scrub which originally wasn't accessible. Being a heritage lottery funded project, the community engagement side is very much at the top of our agenda. We have partnered up with the local landscape partnership scheme, Nenscape, who are developing and growing our volunteering programmes, and they are eventually due to join us on site full time. Our volunteering programmes have already commenced with a host of volunteers helping Gary, pictured with the hat on in this picture, trying to manage the 85 acres estate we've got on site in terms of all of our stewardship scheme, but also getting the site ready and safe and well presented for the public. We're also currently out for the recruitment for volunteers to help in our archaeological archiving centre. And then eventually, by the time we open, we'll be looking for volunteers to get involved in absolutely everything we do on site, including getting involved in our cafe, our shops, running our education programmes, helping in the ARTISAN shopping courtyard, assisting our weddings programme, or even helping with our administration and fundraising. So, as you've heard from Ian, we've got a very large 10,000 year story that we need to interpret to make sense for everybody. The big challenge we've got is everything is underground at present, as Ian has just talked you through. We are currently investing £200,000 into a large centre on site, which will display our 10,000 year story with many of the finds we found at the Chester House estate previously. This includes large interactive displays, lots of interactive games to play as well for the younger children. And this is just the start of our interpretation programme. Once the centre is complete, we wish to go out into the wider landscape as well. And then of course we have our ARC. So as many of you may know, the county hasn't done archiving very well to date, especially our archaeological archives. And they've been stored all across the county in condemned buildings, shipping containers, and also elsewhere not in our county as well. For the first time in this county's history, these archives are going to be publicly accessible. We've got room for over 20,000 boxes of archives to be able to store in this state of the art, in the fourth largest archive in the country. Our archives are currently in multiple places across the country. And it's our job now to be going and picking these up, bringing them to the centre, making sense of what we've got, putting them on our state-of-the-art database system, getting everything reboxed and organised, and then of course, as soon as we can, we'll be opening the doors to our public as well. This building has now been completed and is fully operational. As I said, being a HLF project, education and learning is at the top of our agenda as well. We've invested in one of our largest buildings on site, a large learning and community department, which is headed up by our education officer, Natasha. We've got 3 fantastic partners, including the University of Leicester, who are heading up our archaeology and heritage. We've teamed up with the Creating Tomorrow Multi-Academy Trust, which run multiple schools across the county, and their schools are all for disabled children. A big part of our partnership is trying to offer placements for their students, giving them relevant and tangible work experience, but also building up their confidence in such things as running our on-site farm shop and getting involved in our cafe. And then we've partnered up with Moulton College as well, who will take on very shortly the day-to-day running of the wider estate and management. And as I probably should just mention, we've just recruited our education officer, Natasha, and a big part of her role is developing a whole host of education programs, including Key Stage 1 all the way through to Key Stage 3, history, archaeology, geography, getting involved in the farm and estate business diversification, Key Stage 4 and 5, conservation and farm management, Key Stage 4 and 5, marketing, media and PR, and also hosting student placements and work experience opportunities. This centre is a 7-day operation. So although there'll be schools in there Monday to Friday, at the weekends it's a place where we're hoping groups will be able to hire out, and we can run educational workshops within them as well. In the education centre, we've got 3 large classrooms, large enough for 40 people in each space. We've got our museum, we've got a large volunteering hub, large enough for 50 people. And of course, as well, we've got all of our facilities for our visitors. Just move down. So, with our educational aims, our archiving aims, and of course all our community aims as well, you're probably saying right now, Jack, how are you going to afford to do this? And we're doing this in terms of making the site sustainable. So every penny we're making, we're reinvesting back into our archive and our education centre. But to be able to ensure that we're still here in 10 years' time, we have to make money. And the way we're aiming to make money is the following. We've got a large events and programming calendar throughout the year. Our aim is to have a large event and programme every single month of the year. So there's a reason for people to be visiting the Chester House estate again and again and again. These can be things from historical reenactments to ice skating rinks at Christmas, Father Christmas visits, children themed events, and large food and craft markets as well. These events will start from this October, and our first event will be this October, which will be a large food and craft market, as well as a children's pumpkin patch. We are currently working closely with Ian and Historical England in terms of the design of our outdoor play area, which is due to be in place by this October. This outdoor play area is a mini Roman town with many themed plays. This will all be free of charge. And the reason we put this outdoor play area in is it's close to our farmhouse, which is the home to our cafe. And the aim is we want to increase the dwell time. So the children are playing and the parents are spending money on their afternoon teas, coffees and drinks. On site as well, we've got a beautiful wedding venue in our 17th century threshing barn. This barn is big enough for around 100 to 120 people. It will be fully catered. We have a bar and we've got an alcohol license for the wider site. And of course, our guests can enjoy the fact that they can have that entire estate for themselves in the evening as well. Within our 17th century courtyard, we're promoting artisan shopping, so the very best of local Northamptonshire made food and produce. Within our artisan shopping courtyard so far, we've got Saxby Cider, who have just recently moved in from Airchester, and we've got a farm shop that's being run by the Creating Tomorrow Trust. We've also got a small gift shop as well that's moving in. We've currently got 2 available retail lets, so please do spread the word. We are being incredibly selective of who comes and joins us, as we're wanting the very best to attract to our client base and also ensure they're still here in 2-3 years' time. We've got conferencing, so we've got 3 large conference rooms within our 17th century farmhouse, large enough for around 20 people. And of course, we do have our threshing barn as well with staging and PA systems, so we can do large conferences in the midweek as well. We've got an estate gift shop. So this is where we'll be selling all of our guidebooks, we'll be selling all of our branded produce and merchandise. And this estate gift shop, our aim is that this will be fully volunteer led and managed. So if anybody wishes to get involved in leading this programme moving forwards, then please do get in touch. And of course, one of our main incomes is our cafe and our restaurant. So our business model is we are free to enter, we are free to park. So we're not putting any barriers in people being able to access us. And our aim is that we maximise on our spend per heads. And this is where the cafe / restaurant comes into play. We've got a beautiful cafe in the farmhouse, which can cater up to around 70 people with a large kitchen. And we've also just recently converted a horse box with a large wood-fired pizza oven in and a small ice cream freezer, coffee machine and sausage roll counter. So we can be doing catering site-wide. And of course, I'm going to keep saying it, we are on the search for volunteers to come and join us in our cafe and restaurant and help the business to grow and develop. So please do get in touch if you wish to get involved. And then just above the farmhouse, we've got a 3-bedroom bed and breakfast offering with a beautiful cafe, a kitchen and restaurant as well. And this is all overlooking the River Nen, so beautiful views looking out the window as well. Our aim is our bookings will go live this October for our bed and breakfast centre, so please do keep an eye out. And then in terms of how this all makes sense, so you'll just see the map on your screen in terms of the wider site. So this sits on around 5 acres, the building complex. The total value of the project is £15 million. It's funded by the National Lottery Heritage Fund, who inputted around £6 million of the funding. And then the rest is funded by our new Northamptonshire Council and West Northamptonshire Council. So just to give you a bit of a tour of the site, number 1 is our 17th century farmhouse, grade 2 star listed, our most protected building on site, which is home to our restaurant and also our bed and breakfast centre. We've got a recreation workers cottage at number 3 and visitor toilets. Within our workers cottages, we will be putting interpretation in them to tell the stories, but also using them for events and programming throughout the year. Number 4 is our farmhouse cafe garden, which looks out to the River Nen. And number 5 is our outdoor play area. Number 6 is a student-led project, which is our history garden, where we wish to demonstrate 10,000 years of crop growing and flower growing, and it's currently being led by all of our interns. Number 7 is our threshing barn, where I said all our weddings will take place. Number 8 is our learning and community centre, where we'll have 3 large classrooms and our museum. Number 9 is a large building, the second largest building on site, and that is coming soon. And I will be, keep an eye on our social media, and you'll be hearing about what that building, what the end use of that building is very, very soon. Number 10 is our farmyard artisan shopping courtyard. Number 11 is our visitor centre. And then number 13, we've got, so at number 12, we've got our toilets and accessible car park. Number 13 is our archaeological resource centre. Number 14 is our beautiful Victorian greenhouse project, which we're hoping to do up over the next few years. And then number 15 is where our student digs have been taking place with Ian Meadows over the last 2 weeks. And then number 16 is the old tennis court house garden, where we're aiming to do lots of events and weddings moving forwards. And then in terms of the wider estate, so you may have seen a version of this map on your screen earlier with Ian. We've got 85 acres altogether. We're accessible from the Claudius Way car park, which is our main entrance to the visitor attraction. And this is where all the brown tourist signs will take our visitors. Our other entrance off the A45, as many of you probably know, it is a very sharp junction. And we are working hard with Highways England to try and improve this. But as they say, Rome wasn't built in a day, and we do need to manage expectations that this work will not be complete by the time we open. And this is why we are wishing to push our visitors over to our Claudius Way car park, which we've just had approvals come through from Historic England to be able to extend the space here, to be able to improve the capacity of our car parking. It's around a 5-minute walk from the Claudius Way car park to the wider estate. And then, of course, we've got other walks around the site as well. One of our most recent completed projects is our boat mooring on the Nen, which was in partnership with the Environmental Agency and Nenscape. This is now fully open to the public and can start being used. As I'm sure many of you are probably wondering, when are those bridges going to be finished? And it's a very good question. We are working incredibly hard. It's a project that's currently out of our hands, but we are working with NCC Highways to ensure we can get these bridges up and open by spring of next year. They're currently going through the planning process. The big problem we've got at the moment is that once the planning process is complete, which will be the winter, this turns into a floodplain, which makes it incredibly hard to be able to actually go and do the work. So we need to then wait for things to dry up. So we'll be aiming for this for next spring to be able to get these bridges in place, which will make us accessible to Wellingborough Embankment. We are then also working with the Nenscape Greenway Link programme, which is a large footpath that starts on the edge of Peterborough and comes straight through the county. The current aim is the footpath will follow this red line coming down here and through into the wider estate, and then over into the Pro Lodgers Park and down to the embankment. The aim is we're going to have this footpath in place by the end of the year. Our big aim is we don't want to put a barrier in people accessing us, and we need to be as accessible as possible. But we also need the public to understand that it is an incredibly difficult and complex project that we're doing here. And we need to take it day by day in terms of getting the infrastructure set up. Our main aim is we want to get the wider building complex complete, which is no means an easy project, coming in and picking up a contractor's work that's 75%, 80% complete. Once we've got that complete, our attention will turn to the bridges, our Nenscape Greenway link, and also improving the connectivity into Worcester as well. So in terms of project progress, so this is probably quite a negative photo that I'm showing you here, and it's been the bane of my life for the last 12 months. What you're seeing here is 3 men digging our gas pipe on site, and it's a project that's cost us a lot of money. But I wanted to show you in terms of the fact that it is a difficult project we're doing here, because we're coming in and we're picking up somebody else's work from the previous contract. When we started on site, we realised the gas pipe that was installed around 3 years ago was installed incorrectly. So the whole thing has had to come back out again. This is the pipe all the way down from the A45, all the way down to the main farmhouse and through the buildings, which has cost us not just hundreds of thousands of pounds, but also time on the project as well. But things are getting complete. We've got our brand new mooring on the Nen, which is looking absolutely fantastic. We've got our education centre and building 17, which is coming soon. They are due for handover next week. And you'll just see through there our beautiful Artisan shopping courtyard as well, which is very nearly there as well, and due to handover next Monday. And we're talking days now. We're no longer talking years or months, we're talking days until this area here is complete. And then, of course, we've got our amazing archaeological archiving centre as well, which is fully complete now and operational. And I just wanted to touch on our student internship programme as well, and it's something I'm incredibly proud of. We've got 8 internships that we're currently running on the estate, and the big aim of doing these internships is that we wanted students who are currently in university and college to be able to get real hands-on experience. And there's no better hands-on experience they're going to get by getting involved in the Chester House Estate project at this time. So 6 of these are currently on your screen. So we've got Georgia, who's getting involved in all of our marketing and business development. We've got Sophie, who's getting involved in all our heritage and interpretation projects. Lauren, that's getting involved in our volunteering and community. Shelley, who's getting involved in developing our education programs. Chloe, our catering, and William, also our market research. So that's all. I'm not going to go on for too much longer. My email is on the screen, and also my mobile number. Please do get in touch if you have any questions or if you wish to get involved. This is your asset. It's in your area. We want you to be proud of what we're doing here. We know it's been a long time coming, and it hasn't been an easy project, but over the next couple of months, we're hoping to really deliver for you all, and we're hoping that you'll be incredibly proud of the Chester House Estate moving forwards. So thank you.
Jack, thanks very much for that. Absolutely astonishing. I think the vision is absolutely amazing. And I have to say that I look forward to taking my granddaughter to the outdoor play area quite soon, by the sounds of things. So they're absolutely superb. And I can understand why our current chairman, Sally, is so excited with the prospect of, working with you. It seems that there's plenty of opportunity for us to partner in some ways. Don't know how many volunteers you'll get out of our membership, but you never know. I know 1 or 2 people have asked the question about where they go for volunteering, and that has been answered. We have got 2 or 3 we've got a couple of questions that have been sent in, so if I can just ask a couple of them. Let's just pick a couple. But we won't ask them all because time's running out, and I've certainly got to be gone by 4 today. So I'm sure Helen will carry on if you're still available. So let's have a look. The first one was, are there any plans for investigating the Chester on the Water medieval village in the future?
There currently isn't, Kevin, but I'd be really keen to have a chat with you when you're next down at Chester House regarding that. Ian, I don't know if you have anything else to add on that.
Yeah, we put a trench across it in about 2013, But subsequent to that, Historic England moved the schedule monument boundary to incorporate all of it. So in terms of excavation, it's unlikely that we'd be able to do any excavation, but it's one of those areas that needs a certain amount of management, because a lot of the earthworks are actually the remains of agricultural dumping from what used to be the covered yards. So I think there is scope for non-destructive work to enhance the study, and perhaps it's one of those areas that further GPR or whatever may be worth trying, because certainly our understanding of that village at the moment is really poor.
Okay, thanks for that, Ian. Somebody's asked, when will the cafe be open?
So the cafe is due, sorry, make sure I wasn't mute. The cafe is due for completion on the October the 3rd. So the aim is our cafe within the farmhouse will open from this October half term, which I think is the 23rd of October, which will be our first day being operational. But our aim is keep an eye on our social media, because we are hoping to try and get much of the site open this summer as well. So in terms of our really cool horse box that we've had converted with our pizza oven in, and we can do teas and coffees out of, we're hoping that will be operational over the next couple of weeks within our courtyard.
Brilliant. Okay. And somebody's asked, and I think you've answered this actually, but I'll still ask the question, will the conference stroke event space be available for community hire? For example, local clubs such as U3A groups?
Without a doubt, yes, absolutely. We need you guys to be coming and using this facility. We've got two different prices at the Chester House Estate for all of our hire. So we've got our corporate rate for all the large businesses that have the money to be able to pay us lots of money to help us be sustainable. But then we've also got our community hire rate as well, which we'll be offering to you guys, which basically just means that we cover our costs for you being there. So we're not having to pay for you to be using the space. This is your, like I say, this is your asset. It's all being funded by the taxpayer, and we want you to use it and enjoy it.
The one thing that has cropped up, certainly since I've started developing an interest in it, and that is transport, because it's outside of the town. So what proposals have you got for transport?
So it's around a 10-minute walk from Wellingborough Embankment. As I mentioned, we're upping the Greenway Link programme, which we're aiming to be complete by the end of this year, which means you'll be able to walk from the embankment and through into Rushton Lakes as well. We've got our canoe port, so you can canoe and kayak down to Chester House. We've also got our bus coach drop-off point, which is in the building complex as well, so we can welcome coach groups. We're working with local bus providers to try and put us on the link so people can access us on the bike, via buses. Working with local taxi firms as well, where they can drop off on the site. But for the short term, we need people to bear with us. We need to get the site open and operational. And at the moment, we are accessible by vehicle and by foot. But we will be looking at other options of how people can access us moving forwards.
Okay, thanks for that, Jack. I think I think I'm going to call it a halt there, and I'm going to thank the two of you most sincerely for a fantastic